Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2026, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today is commemorated and celebrated as Static Electricity Day on January 9th, especially in US. Every year, it is a day dedicated to the funny and sometimes annoying electric charge phenomenon and learning why and how it happens. Humans are no strangers to static electricity since we can see, feel, and hear its effects in most cases. Static electricity is around us in more forms than just static shock and is quite useful and harmless. Static electricity refers to an increased electric charge present on the surface of an object. This charge either remains on the said surface, travels to the ground, gets discharged, or transfers onto other object. When you rub two objects together, they acquire equal and opposite charges, developing an attraction between them. Simply put, opposites attract, and the electric force is basically an attraction between two opposite charges. So, great philosopher Thales of Miletus was the first to mention static electricity in his accounts. While cleaning his amber, he found that smaller dust particles would start sticking to it when he rubbed it. This was followed by 300 years later when Theophrastus rubbed different stones together to observe his power of attraction. None of them, however, went to research phenomena in depth. So around 2000 years later, once the term electricity has been coined, there was a room for a deeper understanding and research of the concept. Around 2000 years later, once the term electricity has been coined, there was room for a deeper understanding and research of the concept. German scientist Otto von Guericke started researching static electricity. French physicist Charles Augustin de Coulomb researched a fixed quantity of static electricity, and American scientist Benjamin Franklin associated static electricity with storms. Another key player was scientist Michael Faraday, who proved that electricity from a magnet, voltaic electricity produced by a battery, and static electricity are the same. Once there are more understanding of this concept, static electricity started being used in magic tricks, innovations, etc. Today, we are surrounded by static electricity in our daily lives. It is often mistaken to be merely a static shock, but it is so much more. So, given the makeup of the human body, static electricity can't seriously harm you. However, lightning can be dangerous, even though 70% of lightning strike victims survive. While static electricity is in itself isn't bad, the friction created by it can result in stress and anxiety, which further disrupt sleep. You can have indoor plants, walk barefoot, humidity, the air, wear natural fabrics, etc. So learn more about static electricity. Static electricity is more than a random spark we experience here and there. It is important, specific phenomenon, essential for the functioning of many of our daily life objects. Use the day to understand more about it. You will find static electricity all around you, from copy machines to computing applications. You'll be surprised to know how static electricity is present and try to identify some of these objects. Prepare for static electricity. Static electricity is more present and active in colder, drier months, leading to more static shocks. You can take measures to reduce its effects, such as moisturizing your skin before putting on clothes and installing a humidifier in the house during winters, etc. So, lightning is a result of electric charge between the clouds. The sky has static electricity. Rubbing a balloon on your head and putting a bulb on the charged balloon causes it to make small sparks. So, photocopiers use static electricity to attract ink to or toner to the paper, a photocopy of attraction. And when brushing your hair with a plastic comb, it becomes charged and attracts smaller particles, such as tiny pieces of paper. A lightning bolt, for example, can go up to 50,000 Fahrenheit, and it's very hot. Without static electricity, our daily life tasks would look different. For instance, there would be no air filters or photocopy machines, and even pollution control in factories would not be possible without it, and it is essential. Several magic tricks utilize static electricity and its effects to entertainment purpose. For entertainment purpose, whether it is Stephen Gray's flying boy experiment or different party tricks used a head charged balloon, the entertainment value of static electricity is quite high. Today is also commemorated as Quitter's Day on January 9th. On second Friday in January this year, it falls on January 9th. The tradition of setting New Year's resolution began some 4,000 years ago with the ancient Babylonians. For them, the year did not begin in January, but in mid-March on the first moon after the spring equinox. Quitter's Day is set aside to recognize those who set New Year goals and fail to achieve them, and to encourage and equip them to try again and ultimately succeed. Research has shown that people quit their resolutions for the year by the second Friday of January. In 2019, extensive research was conducted by Strava, a social network for athletes, and it was found that approximately 80% of the people who made New Year resolutions have tapped out by the second week of January, making deductions from the available 800 million user logged activities in that year. Strava even went on to predict that second Friday of January was the fateful day when the motivations of most quitters began to decline. And the main areas of focus for resolutions involve exercise, eating habits, and weight loss. So, new studies have found that about two-thirds of people abandon their New Year's resolution within a month. One of the major problems with achieving New Year resolutions is that those who set them are overambitious. People usually start with high levels of motivation, but as the time progresses, the drive begins to wane. And the key in achieving goals is to set short, medium, and long term goals, as opposed to one large, unrealistic stretch goal. So, starting small and staying consistent, and also pairing up with someone else to remain accountable and motivated will lead to good results. The day is not one to make fun of those who set goals and quit, but one to ultimately inspire them to eventually achieve their goals despite all odds. The key is not quitting something you started, is not to just decide to do something, but be totally devoted to doing it. The second key is persistence, and the third is to get in with a group club doing the same thing. According to research, these three things are winning results to keep going. Celebrate your past achievements, even though you quit on some goals. That doesn't make you a failure. You got some things done in the past and you should value that. So organize some form of celebration with friends and colleagues to be encouraged to do better in the future. This is perfect time to sit and take an in-depth look into the goals you previously set. Doing this well help recognize the lapses and loopholes in them and to create a better, more effective way. Revising your set goals. After learning and practicing effective techniques for achieving your set goals, help others to learn to do likewise, and they will definitely be grateful, and you will be helping lots of people. So it was most common in the Western world, but also be found in Eastern countries. Westerners practice it more. About a quarter of American adults who form New Year resolutions form them at the end of Great Depression. Have shown that those who make common New Year's resolutions are 10 times more likely to succeed than those who decide to make life changes at other 3 times of the year. So, according to studies, the most effective way to achieve a New Year's resolution is by setting specific goals. So, the Romans began each year by making promises to the god Janus, and in modern times, many Christians prepared for the year ahead by praying and making these resolutions, which has religious origins as well. So, having a day set aside specifically to recognize people who quit pursuing their goals helps us to understand the reasons behind the quitting. The day further provides a platform for these people to learn and encourage one another in terms of how to better achieve their goals. Quitter's Day reminds us that we are all still human and we will fail at times. This helps promote more understanding and empathetic societies. This day goes a long way in helping everyone involved person become better versions of themselves. Once the lessons are taken up and put to use as they do, we ultimately have a better world. Today is also commemorated as Play God Day on January 9th every year. While the name can suggest reenactment of some sort, the day is there to do something nice for someone other than yourself. The idea behind it is to play God for someone by doing something that reflects or represents God's blessing. So, what do you do if you were God for a day? We came up with a few suggestions like paying for someone's meals or groceries, offering to help someone in need, even if it's just to cross the street or getting involved in social issues that will make a lasting impact. The possibilities are endless. It is difficult to pinpoint the exact period when the concept of God came into existence. There is no consensus on who, when, what, where, and how the concept of God originated. In fact, there is no real consensus on what or who God is. Each culture and religion has its version of God, and there are even subversions within these cultures and religions. While there are main characteristics of God that different groups agree on, each individual has their meaning and beliefs in a general sense. However, it is commonly believed that God stands for a higher power, higher energy, higher sense, and has an eternal and essential existence. He is omnipotent and omnipresent and is the creator of all beings. Additionally, there is widely shared faith in God to bless and guide everyone through a good life. The concept of play God day doesn't come from a particular religious or cultural belief, but basic idea that God is good to everyone and we should be good to, to everyone without discriminating or hating any particular religion or caste or creed or any group or any person as such. Play God Day is a day to make a kind gesture without a selfish intent. much like God would. These gestures don't have to be miraculous or life changing. All you have to do is be a human being with and make someone's day just a little better than it would be otherwise. Treat them as you would like to be treated and don't treat them as you would not like to be treated. Just imagine what would it be like to be a god for one day. Think about the things you would do or the problems you would fix. While several of those things may be out of our ability as a human, there will be some things that you can take baby steps towards on this day. For instance, if you would eliminate word hunger as God, donate to a food bank on Play God Day. While we don't need an exercise to be nice to others, Play God Day is a great opportunity to do so. Today is also commemorated as Panama's Martyrs Day on January 9th. Martyrs Day. Martyrs Day in Panama is observed on 9th every year. January is a national day of mourning commemorating the anti-American riots over the sovereignty of the Panama Canal Zone on January 9, 1964. Students were slain after a clash between Canal Zone police officers and locals when a Panamanian flag was vandalized, which sparks the unrest. After Canal Zone police succumbed to the ensuing violence, US Army soldiers had to intervene. Approximately 22 Panamanians and 4 American soldiers were killed after 3 days of warfare. According to the Torrijos-Carter Treaties of 1977, the United States decided to hand over the authority of the Canal Zone to Panama as a result of this incident. Today is also commemorated as No Pants Subway Ride Day in US in early January every year on January 9th this year, and the official date is announced a month before it in early December. It is an annual event where, as the name suggests, people ride the subway or other rapid transport with no pants on. Interestingly, it has been observed in different parts of the world in over 60 cities since 2002. Everywhere, Improve Everywhere organizes the event and they have coordinators worldwide to make sure everyone knows and follows the instructions for this crazy holiday. Today is also commemorated as National Word Nerd Day in US on January 9th by enthusing about our favorite words and the importance of language in our culture. Whether you are always know what to say or you often end up with your foot in your mouth, words are essential to our success and progress. National Word Nerd Day gives you the chance to learn some new words, use some old ones, and maybe even borrow them for someone else. So we got some wordy ways to spend your day and Virgo's views on how to celebrate this National Word Nerd Day. Today is also commemorated as National Wonk Day in US on January 9th every year. And as you can probably imagine it celebrates Washington, D.C.'s political enthusiasts, those committed to their beliefs. A wonk is someone genuinely interested in a specific field, and term is especially used to refer to those deeply involved in politics. Truly dutiful individuals working for the greater good. In 2019, iHeartRadio launched Washington's Wonk FM to honor these residing in capital. According to the company, we think Wonks deserve a day of recognition and a radio station to match. You work hard and you deserve to play hard. Today is also commemorated as National Law Enforcement Day on January 9th in 2026. If you have a police officer as a friend or a family member, National Law Enforcement Day on January 9th is the perfect time to show officers we understand how difficult their job is. So it's important to show officers how much we understand their difficult work and appreciate their sacrifice and risk. Today is also commemorated as National Faith Day, which is celebrated across the world on January 9th. It is a common Christian name for girls and has been popular for many years. The meaning of faith is a deep and steadfast belief, and women who are named Faith are loved by everyone for being devoted, steadfast, and loyal. They are joy to all who know them. Those named Faith are especially known for their gentle nature and graceful ways in natural, but there can be contrast based on their personalities. Today is also commemorated as National Cassoulet Day on January 9th every year. In the US, cassoulet is a French casserole made with white beans that comes in a range of flavors. The traditional dish is not straightforward to prepare and can take some time, but if you want to keep it simple, there's a lots of simplified recipes online. Since the temperatures have dropped to seasonal levels, we are back to whipping winds and days with far less sunshine than we would prefer. It's time to savor the guilty pleasure that comes with the winter months' comfort food. Cassoulet is a hearty casserole that originates in the French area of Languedoc. Although there are variations, white bean sausages and duck or goose confit are mainstays in the recipes, which, mostly white beans are popular, being vegetarian and animal cruelty free. Today is also commemorated as National Apricot Day in US, which is celebrated nationwide on January 9th every year. Apricots, often confused with their sister fruit peaches, are juicy golden orange fruits that emerge in the spring. They are delicious, healthy, versatile, and a fan favorite in many different forms. The apricot is a member of Rosaceae or the rose family, along with over 4,000 other species of plants. Apricots belong to a subdivision of fruits within this family, known as drupes, having a thin skin, pulpy middle, and hard center with the seeds. Some other groups related to apricots and are plums, peaches, and cherries. You can find several different varieties of apricots, and they are all delicious. Today is also commemorated as International Choreographers Day on January 9th, 2026 this year, and every year on January 9th across the globe. Choreographers are masterminds behind all beautiful dance choreographies and routines we see, the creative geniuses behind designing, planning, and arranging different movements together. Many prominent choreographers have emerged and started revolutionary dance companies that are still running today. Choreographers paved the way for many to come after them. They bring art to life, and International Choreographers Day is a day of celebration and appreciate for them. Today is also commemorated as Balloon Ascension Day in US on January 9th to commemorate the first manned balloon flight to ever take place in America. The first balloon ascension event was witnessed by President George Washington, who was a patron of aviation pioneers. He was fascinated by the tales of the Frenchman who pioneered hot air ballooning and was keen help to do so in America. This assisted the balloonist who did not speak English greatly when he landed on American soil. The letter from Washington explaining his mission. Today is also commemorated as National Law Enforcement Day on January 9th. If you have a police officer as a friend or a family member, National Law Enforcement Day on January 9th is a perfect time To show officers we understand how difficult their job is. So it's important to show officers how much we understand their difficult work and appreciate their sacrifice and risk. Whether it's civil unrest or labor strikes, huge sporting events, or just helping a cat get down from a tree, law enforcement officers are a critical part of our lives, woven into everyday fabric of living in America. They keep our neighborhood safe and help ensure that whatever it is you need to do, you can do with peace of mind. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for being part of this today's celebrations and commemorations. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link for different commemorations and celebrations. And we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before leaving the platform. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.